So check it out.
Now the final part of the Ronin.
Science and innovation.
Science.
And all Jacob's ladder and irrigation shit. In the center of it all is a bunch of servers that run the Ronin's web porn ring.
Oh.
Those assholes are making serious
What?
bank off
Serious
the
money?
Yeah, I'm well aware of how much money must go into it.
Somewhere to, servers are expensive. And
That outfit.
for finale, I find it even more ridiculous. Might do the entire finale just naked.
You won't.
Hey, if you dress naked, there's even a streaking minigame in this game.
What kind of gun is that?
The automatic shotgun, like military grade automatic shotgun, has a drum to load in.
I was gonna say I thought I had a drum.
It's a high powered. Hey, only the best.
Ooh,
Blimp.
airplanes.
Blimp.
It's a science museum. It makes sense.
Airplanes, blimps. Secret base underneath the mountain. Yeah, someone's got a secret base underneath the mountain.
I'm glad you took out that bitch that killed Carlos.
Yeah.
Have you read Ben King's book? That's all you got?
So what is it you're doing here?
Shooting more Ronin. What have I done for the last how many parts? Shooting more Ronin.
16, 15 parts previously.
Until you've shot, that's assuming that number is correct. Which you know what it is. Yeah. You shoot until the game says you've won. Spaceship. Insert. Shh. That music is heavily copyrighted on YouTube.
Sorry.
The X-Files theme.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is. What music that is.
Heavily copyrighted on YouTube. Yeah, kick the open door. We're back on the automatic shotgun. That's surprisingly high range for a shotgun.
Seemingly.
How
You
does
would
that-
think it does more damage as well.
Well, the range shotguns already have their little range. Huh, the storeroom. The bit of the museum you never see. Is that a kit? Is that a massive tube of Kool-Aid over there?
Where?
They have giant tubes of coloured stuff.
It'd be for a science exhibit of some kind.
It's just it's the Aperture brand of science. It's just science.
No, it's the Kool-Aid man after he went on a diet.
Ow.
Oh, what the hell was that?
I'm not sure. Something blew up. All I'm worried is I'm not on fire. That's the main thing.
Yet.
In fact, do I end up on fire in this part? I can't remember. I think yeah, because the finale involves a burning ship for reasons.
You end up on fire. You could be in a place filled with ice and water. You will find a way to be on fire.
Of course, that's how I roll. I'm playing Nintendo 3 and I still end up on fire in that. I could play Phoenix Wright and end up on fire somehow. That's not even possible.
Nope.
Why am I on fire suddenly? A what party?
Stage?
I thought you said sage. It's like, what, a wise man comes and distributes advice. Oh, great reinforcements. Here, helicopter. The RPG comes out. Of course they have an attack chopper, why wouldn't they? Hello? Oh, hi! Shoot the glass out. Close range. Oops. Still missed first shot. Oh, he didn't go in one shot. This guy's a maverick.
That was over and done very quickly.
This guy's also dead. That's just a stronghold. Nice headline there, Museum Massacre. Oh, I'll have you know, I shot only a few civilians.
Very few, actually, for you.
Yeah, I remember something. Oh, I love this scene, by the way. It's like, piss. Like, what?
I'm pretty sure show goes.
How ridiculous. Yeah, no, yeah. Rifle. At one point, I was expecting a bazooka. I was honestly expecting a bazooka.
I bumped into an old buddy of yours who was looking for you.
Who is it?
You can see for yourself in a few minutes.
You brought him here?
How do you know this asshole isn't trying to kill me?
Please. I would never kill my favorite assassin.
Mr. Wong.
Who's he?
This guy used to
Wong.
have me running around.
I
killing
assume,
hot dogs.
someone from Saints Row 1
I'm quite pleased
who had you running around killing people in hot dog suits.
I'm here to give you my
Which happens a lot in Saints Row series. Killing people in mascot outfits.
Akuji and I have a long history. I have also had several unpleasant dealings with his son.
What did Shogo do?
When he was younger, he killed Mr. Wong's dog.
That bastard.
I do not joke about Sadie.
If you guys got some time, we could.
Not the dog.
Is that?
Not Sadie.
Shit, I don't know.
He was fucking followed. You aren't gonna believe this.
A bunch of Ronin goons are coming this way.
Well, yeah.
You ready for this, Wong?
I have not killed a man in quite some time.
Pistol. Assault rifle. Johnny Gat's got assault rifle. Okay, I pull bullshit. There's a flight of stairs. How the hell do you get down there?
How many? Hang on. Usually the thing I just realised. Usually this all ends when you kill the boss of the Ronin.
Yeah.
Who else is left?
His father.
Oh.
Mr. Akuji. Yeah, we've killed Junichi and we've killed your son, Shogo. Well, he'll be dead in about a couple of hours, but he's dead. The main thing.
Right.
So yeah, now it's just the father, Mr. Akuji. But I can't think if he's given the first name. Or whether Mr. is in Japan. Assuming they have something for that. I don't know.
They would have.
My knowledge of Japan, yeah, but the language is very different to the Japanese language.
I'm assuming they would. Most cultures have it.
Yeah, you'll now defend the pillars. More shooting Ronin. This would be a good time to bring our topic in. Something I found online this week that didn't make me immediately shoot blood out my eyeballs.
Right, unlike a lot of other things this week.
Which is what normally has happened in this. It was a discussion about stories and how some people online believe a story must have a cultural significance, a message, an agenda to be remembered and be good. And some people say, no, doesn't matter what the story's about, as long as it's well written and well told, it will be remembered, not because it's pro-feminism or pro... whatever the flavour of the week is. I got blown up there. Do you agree that it needs to have a message, a political, social message?
No, I don't think it does. I can think... well, it depends, because the thing is, if you look at something long enough and from the right angle, everything could have a message in theory. It's a matter of the perspective of the person looking at it.
Political message, or...
Yeah, I don't think it needs one.
But will it? But, the other part of the argument was, people remember stories because of the message they have, not because of...
You're on fire.
Well writing, or good characters, or a good setting, or a great twist somewhere. They remember it because, that was, do you remember Bioshock more for its atmosphere and aesthetic, or because it's pro-objectivism? Ish, kind of.
I remember
Which would you remember it because of? Do you remember it because of... I even
don't-
argue, do you remember Andrew Ryan because he's an objectivist, or because he's a well-written, interesting character with...
I remember Bioshock because of the premise for the story is unique. Equally, it's one of the only times I've ever seen objectivism in a story. It's not so much the political angle, but it's
basically
more kind
what they took Atlas Shrugged, and basically went, we'll have that,
yeah.
go.
It's the thing that you're using your Bioshock as an example. It's the fact that it's an ideology or something that doesn't get a lot of attention, and they found a way to fit into the story quite nicely. But it's equally... I don't think it needs one. If the story has one, it has one. It's not a crucial thing to be remembered. If you look at some of the classic fairy tales, for instance, not fantasy even, Lord of the Rings, C.S. Lewis, etc., etc. That's usually just the moral of good versus evil, but every story has that.
In some form or another. I won, by the way.
I wouldn't call that a political, sociological message, particularly. In any real shape or form. I mean, if you had to try and put a meaning to, or a message to Lord of the Rings, what would it be?
Oh, I'm sure someone might found one.
I'm sure you can, but equally that's the thing of, you go looking for something. It's not to say it's not there, but the difference is it's not the main thing. I don't think it needs one, though, no. I mean, Transformers. The 1986 film.
Hit the baseline of entertainment here. We were talking about a extended commercial.
Yeah.
I'm fine, but Akuji won't stop here.
I don't think it needs one. I'm trying to think of other story. Well,
Come back at us. I want to be ready.
oh, Romeo and Juliet, or any of the classic Shakespeare stuff. There's no sociological, political message usually behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
I'm sure that I can find essays written by people who.
I would completely no.
Looks like the Ronin are
Shakespeare's a poor example. They've all got they've all got messages behind them.
Oh.
I don't know.
See, it's hard. There's only one. That's.
I think they don't need it, but all stories will probably have a message. No one writes a story necessarily just because it's an interesting story.
But in the
Behind it.
But in the end, what will be more remembered? The story and its characters, or the message it has?
It depends on
What should be remembered?
Oh. It depends on what the story sets out to do.
Oh, I found the most awesome car ever.
Oh, good lord.
I found the Freckle Bitches mascot van. It even shoots soda at the top.
You're kidding me.
It does. Don't like doing this. I found it. Mate, back to the serious discussion.
Sorry,
I'm just confused suddenly. I'm not sure why.
Those cookies must be past their sell-by date.
What was in that brownie?
I don't know. I think it depends on the story. 1984 is designed around a sociological message, but that's what it's written about. It's all centered on that, so it will never be remembered. It will be remembered for that as well as the characters. But you can't take one away from. You can't have one without the other a lot of the time. If a story's written well with a message, it's usually so intertwined with the story they can't be separated.
Yeah. I would argue that you probably shouldn't notice the message for a while.
Yeah.
Almost as someone points out to you, wait, you're right, it does. Because, as with many things, let's go back to Tomb Raider, because I like going back to Tomb Raider.
One of your favourite stories.
Let's get started on that. It's so got an agenda to the point of, like, although I argue actually makes Lara Croft less of a powerful female character, because she's the kind of person who would get lost in her own house going to the loo and end up impaled in a bit of rebar. She is that. I actually think she's mentally incompetent in that game. She's just so bad.
She's like me on the Old Republic.
Yeah, that was hilarious. No, I didn't see it. It was still hilarious.
No, I meant getting lost.
Oh yeah. It's so clearly got an agenda. The story suffers. You know, the story is horrendously written. Everyone's a walking cliche. Lara Croft does nothing for herself. Everyone tells her what to do, and she survives because the plot demands it, not because she learns and gets clever. The opposite side of that is Amanda Ripley in Isolation.
Yeah.
It's, okay, she barely has a character, but then again, or Ripley in the original Alien film.
Yeah.
We never make a point of saying she's female. We're going to show her. It's this weird thing I found that male characters in video games can be badass by default. There are plenty full.
But that might have more to do with poor storytelling than anything else. Is the point of you're hammering home on the message.
They are. Rihanna Pratchett can't write for shit.
Well, it's not just games. You get films and television, as you talked. There's loads of examples when you're trying to hammer home a message so much, the story as a result suffers, and your message doesn't come across as a result.
But it hammers the idea. Amanda Ripley gets through, or Ripley. Well, Amanda Ripley and Ripley are both the same character.
Yeah.
In Isolation, everyone even calls you Ripley. Survive not because we're trying to promote feminism and independent women. Look at us being all clever. She survives because she has the wits to survive against the xenomorph. Admittedly, barely by the skin of her teeth, but she gets away in the end because her being female. With Lara Croft, it's like I'm going to write. I'll argue Lara Croft is already a strong and powerful female character.
Yeah.
She takes shit from no one, including the Atlantean demigod at one point. She doesn't take shit from. She's basically, she's a superhero, and why can't she be badass by default? Why does she need to prove herself to be badass? Like, if I wrote a story about Indiana Jones gets stranded on an island as a teenager and then nearly gets raped by a bunch of women, someone's gonna cry foul at that.
Yeah.
But no, Lara Croft, fine. Why? Because she needs to prove herself to be badass. Why can't she just be like Legend of Underworld or the original games? She was just awesome and deal with it. You're not just because you can write a complex character arc does not make the character immediately better. It doesn't work with some characters. Some characters are there just to be power fantasies that I can't climb rocks free solo, backflip off a car, John Woo slow-mo the driver in the face and land on my feet in real life. I'll argue no one can. Unless you're Jack Chan, then you probably could. But Lara Croft's this team is never realistic. It almost has too much story, too much of a budget going for it for what it's trying to do. it's the gratification and the everything needs a complex story, or I can't relate. The trailer for the next game has her wearing a hoodie talking to a psychiatrist. I'm like, no, Lara Croft does not listen to My Chemical Romance, and bitch to people. She just, real Lara Croft, one wouldn't have gone to the island without a backup plan because she's smart. Survived the Himalayas from a plane crash at age 10.
Yeah.
And I'll put the thing, Lara Croft is basically a female version of Batman. She is obsessed with finding out what happened to her parents and how they died. Has a shit ton of money. And arguably, Underworld almost does this, is determined to find out what happens almost to a fault when her best friend is murdered in front of her. And if you want to do the psychology of the character and play her as how I like her, which is very morally kind of grey, and she kills a shit ton of people, whether they deserve to die is an interesting way to play it, rather than play her as always the victim. She has to be the victim of something. And if you want to do the psychology, you've got the doppelganger of Lara Croft created by, that is basically exists to be an evil version of Lara. Yeah, if you want to get into psychology, fine, do it through that. You can do something interesting. You do not need to have veiled rape threats just to get a character across that she's vulnerable. Every human being's vulnerable. No matter how badass they may seem in the front, everyone has a weakness. Batman has a weakness, Superman has a weakness, Spider-Man has many. Superheroes do have weaknesses. You don't
That's
need
the point of them. No one's infallible.
No one's infallible.
You got good timing.
They went too far with trying to make her. The whole promotional stuff. The thing was the idea of you want to protect her. No, Lara Croft should be protecting me. Lara Croft takes shit from no one. She's determined and one-minded, almost to a fault. And they could do something interesting with that rather than making her vulnerable and petty. Because you made a character that was already just Indiana Jones, somehow more generic, by having her be the kind of young, I don't know what I'm doing, what's this do, kind of whiny character you get in a lot of Tumblr fanfiction. With the pretense of making a character stronger when the character was plenty strong fine enough. Anyone who says she's just TNA has never played the Legend of Underworld, because she has plenty of character in that. Enough to carry the game, Yeah, in the original 1, 2, and 3, there's barely a story to those games. And she was basically just tits on a stick. But what's wrong? Why can't she have large and average breasts? Because of that she can't have a character?
I can see an argument for why they wouldn't want that. I'm not saying I agree with it or anything. I'm saying I can see the argument would be that it would be.
But some women see that as empowering. Human beings aren't exactly the same. That's gonna be a problem anyway. Some people, find, Lara Croft attractive. Fine, she knows she's attractive. She will use it to get what she wants at times. Yeah. That's empowering to women. They can, wrap you around little fingers. And men can ever do that without being called sexual harassment. That was 3 in a row, fanboy out of the face. So I'm actually now watching the video. Yeah,
I'm just noticing you're not having a good time on this.
I fail miserably at this. Make it, but nearly fail catastrophically at it. Sometimes it's nice to have a hero who is a bit more simple. She has plenty of character, she has a background, she has a motive for what she's doing, that's a map. Don't try and think you're empowering her by making her more useless. They may do something with this and make her be Lara Croft in the end. But as I said, if the game series carries on, sadly it will.
I can see what they're doing is they're not doing it to try and make her more empowered, it's to try and make her more relatable to the audience. By making her more flawed, they probably are under the assumption that by making them more flawed, it reduces her sort of superhero status to make her more normal.
Indiana Jones survives without being too flawed. Superheroes in general survive without being too flawed. Okay, now they're really fucking flawed. We go back to the golden age of superheroes.
Yeah.
Characters, it's not every character you ever read in fiction is going to be relatable. That really only works with either tabletop or RPGs where you create your own character. In which the whole point is they're meant to be relatable because it's you, or whatever you create.
Yeah.
Lara Croft is a superhero by the very nature of what she does. She's Indiana Jones, basically, with even less of a moral standard. And I'll argue that's more different than most of your characters you get now. Play a character who is very morally kind of, she will kill anyone to get what she wants. You could do something interesting with that and not the generic, whiny, that's why they find her relatable. She whines a lot. They can relate to that. You can make her a strong female character without hammering the point over and over again that every man in this game is either a lecherous, borderline rapist scumbag, or a moron, a slightly cheerful moron, or the betrays you. Done. That's every male in this game, with the exception of one, but he dies very early on. So,
That's annoying.
like, if I did that with all women cast, there would be an amazing shitstorm raised. An amazing shitstorm.
Well, the idea of equality in life, not just in games, is complicated.
Well, yeah, they're trying to simplify it down to...
Because there isn't real equality everywhere.
I'd argue there will be. Human nature in general, we are designed to look out for number one.
Well, of course that, but I mean in terms of like based on race, gender, etc.
Yeah, it shouldn't happen, and it is sad that it does happen.
There should be greater equality. It's much better than how things. There is progress happening, but the fight goes on, obviously, for everyone. And I fervently believe there shouldn't be any inequality based on purely on your gender, your race, your age, any of that. There shouldn't be prejudice. Full stop. I'm very passionate about that. But it's a difficult situation, and it's a bit of a two-way street as well, because it becomes to the point of what is it then turning into positive discrimination? That you're giving someone the job, or you're doing something, you're villainizing, let's say, men, as we have in this. It's the idea of we're making them the villain because they're men and they're always the villain. Well, that's doing exactly the same thing as Hollywood saying.
The supernatural power is a Japanese princess in the main game, but she just fuck all from the main game. The final boss is still a man. Just want to put that something clear. Someone will correct me. Yeah, the evil supernatural power is keeping her Ryan is an evil spirit, a Japanese princess, but she just fuck all for the entire fucking game. She's just there as a reason for why we can't leave. What you face most of the time are either wolves or men.
Wolves you work because it's a force of nature.
Well, yeah, that works. Lara Croft, for instance. Lara Croft frequently shoots endangered species. Her and tigers never got along. Her and sharks frequently don't get along. She will gun down any animal. It's just that I miss competency in characters.
We're going through a strange transition of various things at this point.
Well, I'm in a bad mood for the last week, so...
I know you have been.
I'm in the rant mode. I like Lara Croft from Legends in Underworld. She's funny, she's clever, almost to a genius level, intellect, both cunning and, puzzle solving. That's you as the player, but it's Lara. But she has insane knowledge, archaeological knowledge. And she has a sense of humour, she is funny, she is sarcastic. She never needs to show her fear. Doesn't mean she's not scared of things, giant kraken attacks you. No matter how smug you look, you're going to be slightly like,
Yeah.
fuck. But she maintains a positive attitude, and she is a strong role model for female characters. Like, you can do what you want, because Lara Croft does do what she wants. No one stops her.
No.
It's Lara Croft. You wouldn't dare realistically affect Lara Croft. It's just... They've done it once with Samus Aran in Nintendo, and I'm pretty sure that game came out now, it'd be positively seen. Turned into a whiny, basically Boba Fett with breasts. Awesome bounty hunter doesn't say much to a whiny daddy issues.
Right.
If that came out now, I'm pretty sure it'd be, because Metroid fans would fucking hate it, but everyone else, a certain crowd who rhymes with Rumbler, would like it. Because flawed characters do not always necessarily mean better character.
No. But equally, what you don't want is a flawed character to the point of the flaws define them. What you want is the flaws help round them out, but they're not the defining feature of the character necessarily. If you go through the list of superheroes we were saying about earlier, like Superman, Batman, everything, they've all got flaws in terms of they've got an actual weakness. Yeah. They've all got flaws, they've character flaws as well. You look at Batman,
there's a list.
Well, he's got a huge list of character flaws.
Obsessive, compulsive, psychotic.
Incredibly lonely. His things all stem from the fact that he can't let anyone emotionally get close to him. You see that all the time. Superman, to look at Clark Kent.
God complex.
It's not just a god complex, he's got a hero complex.
Yeah.
Look at Marvel Universe, you've got Tony Stark.
Alcohol,
arrogance. He's got lots of them. I mean, they even had an arc all about that, which was Demon in a Bottle.
Yeah. I like that. That's good.
Which they then incorporated into Iron Man 2 was the one that brought that into. That's all about him being flawed, as a character flaw or anything like that. And it works, because it helps round him out a bit, and then it's dealing with the problem. It's not solving it, because obviously sometimes there's such big issues they can never be dealt with. I mean, he's still got his arrogance, which is still always going to be a problem with Tony Stark. But hey, that's Tony Stark.
Hey, it
You
adds
don't want anything else from him. It comes to the point of it's a character flaw, but it makes them them. Both of us have got character flaws, dozens. I'm willing to bet.
Well, I'm perfect in every way, as you know.
Absolutely.
There's your first arrogance. First character flaw, arrogance. Delusional, separated from reality.
There's no such thing as a perfect. I'm of the belief that a perfect person is imperfect.
I'd argue a perfect person isn't a person. Humanity is flawed and it always will be. Stop trying to get rid of the flaws.
Exactly.
So you lose what it is to be human.
There's a point of not necessarily getting rid of the flaws to the point of it. You can accept them, but if they're flaws that are potentially damaging, then yes, do your best to overcome them.
Why would we won?
Well done. I completely missed it.
For now, we won.
That's the Ronin beaten now, isn't it?
Yes, they're gone.
Goody.
So yeah, it's just that again, it's missing competence, a competent character, because it's this belief that you make the character incompetent, they're more relatable. Well, I don't want to be someone relatable to me because I'm a whiny, cowardly, pussball who would never be in a fight in real life.
Oh, I know that.
I want to play someone who's awesome, kicks ass, gets all the women or men, depending on how you swing. Because it's a fun bit of escape. My real life is dull as shit.
That's what games are. Games and films and anything generally in the arts are. They're designed for two reasons. One, you've got escapism, which is what the whole thing's about. But equally, it's escapism and possibly learning something along the way. That's why you don't need to have a message behind it. But if you've got the message behind it, it's interwoven so well with the story that they're there. You can, and sometimes separating the two to be what will it be remembered for depends on who's writing and what the point is. Sometimes you do it because the message is more important, so you'll remember the sociological message. Brecht stuff, you don't tend to remember. You remember bits of the story, but the main thing you'll leave walking away with is the idea of a message.
I think it's a combination of oversimplification of a problem that is very hard to define. Period.
Yes.
Misunderstanding the definition of the word sexism.
Yeah. Well, that's
like
just because there's so many schools of thought when it comes to sexism.
No, you ask me on the internet, what's sexism? Oh, discrimination against women. No, sexism is discrimination against anyone because of their gender.
It's discrimination based purely on gender.
Not aimed at women.
I understand the most prevalent form of sexism is against women.
Yeah.
Don't get us wrong, we're not saying that at all.
Yeah, we're still cool, aren't we?
But it is a two-way street as well.
Arguably, you can't win.
No, it's impossible to win because it's the whole situation of you can't make all the people happy all the time, and when it becomes down to politics a lot of the time, it's a personal view. It's the whole idea of all politicians, every single person on the planet. Well, I'll say go with politicians because their job is about politics.
They're also not human.
All politicians and all politics is about striving to create a perfect society. But the thing is, what does that perfect society consist of, and how does it work? Is where the differences lie.
Can you make a perfect society?
And that's the other thing.
While maintaining free will. Yes, you can if you brainwash everyone and have everyone basically come to a kind of collective thought. True, you could, but then you lose free will, and then it gets into an entirely different debate.
Yeah.
About if human beings are flawed.
Yeah, we'll always disagree because we'll always think differently. We're always going to have different. It's not just politics. You're based on the fact that you and I have different opinions on things and what we think's work, what doesn't work, what we like, what we don't like, and a lot of the time it's a case of we'll have to agree to disagree.
So I'm right.
Not getting drawn in.
I'm always right.
Yeah.
I'm over this. I'm always right.
Yes, dear.
I'm always right. When have I ever been wrong? See, you can't name time.
But these kind of I forgot the bloody starting point now. We've gotten into. I'm not sure.
Stories. Message. Do you need a political, social, ecological, political, social, economical point to a story for it still to be a memorable and good story?
No, you don't need one. If it's got one, then.
Subtlety, game writers. You can't know you subtlety in game writing because then they annoy because it's not there. This is the problem. You just make subtle in games, 90% of people don't realise it's there.
Writing in terms of if you're going with the message in there, it is walking a tightrope. It's the point
Yes.
of it's either to the point of you're doing it not enough that it's not visible and therefore you get complaints, or so much that it's too blatant and the story suffers as a result. It's a difficult job, and
It's insanely hard to do, but...
writing in any fashion is difficult to do. With good writing is challenging for the
Tell me
most
about
part. I think we both know that. We've both written enough plays in that.
I mean, never compromising.
Yeah,
Never compromise.
And when you make compromises, things suffer as a result.
No one's happy. And that's, yeah...
No one's ever happy. You'll never please all the people all of the time.
Stop trying to.
It's not just stop trying to, but you want to please as many people as you can, but as a result, things suffer.
My thought is just... write plot and characters first. Political message last. Not even second. Last. You create good characters, there will be a message. Even if you don't realise as a writer. You can put message into things if you have the main character be, just happens to be female. Even if you don't draw attention to the point, you're making a point about females being, if we assume the main character is at least vaguely competent in their job, wins the day, that alone, you don't need to have 15 cutscenes of, ooh, look at her suffer. Ooh, isn't she? Yeah, look at that. Yeah. Look at her suffer. Yeah, she'll grow from this. But why? Why can't she just be awesome from the get-go?
Yeah, exactly.
Why does she have to prove to us that she needs to be good? Why can't she just be good? Shepard in Mass Effect, female version, just awesome from the get-go. Yeah, fucked a few things up along the way, but who doesn't? But it's just, awesome Marine, saved lives, kicked the libertarian asses, done from the get-go. They have it all before the game takes place.
You don't need to go through this process of proving what they are, because
they're a badass. Deal with it.
Because no matter what, that's the whole thing. You don't need to prove someone just because of gender,
race, age,
anything. You don't need to prove.
No,
because we are all capable of that. You don't need to go on to prove that they can be when we know. Well, yeah, of course they can. Why do you need to show me? Why do you need to go through this process of showing me they can be like that?
Can Lara Croft be awesome? You've got like 50 other Tomb Raider games. Yeah, she can be. She was she is for 8 years on records the most iconic female character in gaming. I think that may have been some years ago. That may have changed.
Yeah.
One of the most iconic female characters in gaming. Now she's another generic whiny, more spoiled than the original one. Brat. After a while, it turns into. And I've got enough of them. I got enough of that reading forum posts on the internet.
Getting enraged at it.
And getting pissed off to unbelievable. Also, the game is boring. It's a generic third-person shooter with grey rain. Yeah, it's completely well made. Not arguing that. It's